Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we show you that trading is as simple as you make it on yourself. Tonight we're just going to quickly go over our 4-hour swing trade experiment with you, going over a couple of the trades that we took, and actually it's been going pretty well in all fairness. I got quite a bit of feedback in terms of people who are actually following these trades, taking them in their paper trading accounts just to see how profitable this can be. But that's all we're going to do tonight. So as you guys know, got to start with my disclaimer, and then I'll show you exactly how many pips and how much profit that could have equaled here in just a second. But disclaimer first that says everything on YouTube and the rest of the world, you're 100% responsible for you. Obviously, don't take it as legal or investing advice. Follow your own intuition, do your own due diligence. Obviously, no matter what, do this on a demo account. The thing that I'm hoping to get across, that the effort that we're trying to make here is to show you that it's possible, that you can make a ton of money, way more than your IULs, your 401ks, your investment accounts, and all the firms and hedge firms on the planet. You can 10x those results. Yes, it takes a skill set. Yes, it's a bit of a learning curve depending on, everyone's a little different. But you have access to that and so much more. So for the purpose of at least defining, we are using Hugo's way to define a pip. We know the news talks about points. Oh, Dow Jones is down, blah, blah, blah points, blah, 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 blah. Well, that point is, comparable measurement. It's actually 10 times the measurement of a pip, right? Every broker is a little bit different, so we know it's going to be different from person to person, country to country, currency to currency, what your account is based out of, so many variables. But for the sake of normalcy, this is the math that we're using. And of course, you can compound. You have plenty of options, but let's just normalize that a little bit. And now let's go take a look at how many pips and how much of a move we got from the last video that we did. Okay, I'm going to start at the top where we said, hey, I mentioned this live, it's recorded, everything I say is recorded for future, educational purposes. But we mentioned I really would like to talk a little bit more, and I'd like some person-to-person feedback. So maybe we need to do like a live YouTube or something for people who just aren't in my private groups, but to ask you what your thoughts and feelings are. But what I'd like to do is define that stop loss. I asked for a little bit of a grace period, mostly because when I trade, I don't like to micromanage my trades, nor do I like the market and every sneeze that it makes knocking me out, because I feel like both of those are not healthy mentally and emotionally for how I want to trade, how I want to look at the markets, how I want to go about this business, right? This industry. It's no fun for me. So most of my other trades all fall to the same thing, which is I'm looking at structure for my stop loss. I'm adding an ATR cushion. 99% of the time, that is what I'm doing. So when we first started out on this journey, we said one fractal back with an ATR cushion. I like that, and it's duplicatable for the masses, but one fractal back doesn't necessarily come to structure. So if any of you watchers would like to chime in on the comments of what you would like to define that's a duplicatable, which means you, me, and the guy next door needs to be able to duplicate that same process. I'm all ears. Within the next video or two, I'd like to have that finalized, because again, I'm looking at this long term. I want to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything in between, the losses, the weeks, everything that goes with it, just to show you it's possible. Not perfect, but possible. Not perfect, but profitable, right? Our last video, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, called that Vacation Brain. But we didn't do anything last week because it was the holiday and then NFP. So actually, I didn't take any other personal trades in my private groups either. But I believe this was our last call. In that call, we were looking at quite a few things. My team advised me, no more doing indices on the live public stuff. Give those only in the private groups, which I obviously super agree. Plus, they're a lot more high risk. There's a lot more that goes into it. Needless to say, that trade that we were looking at did move over 2,500 pips, I think, give or take. We didn't call it as a trade idea, but just so you guys know, it's not counted here, but I wanted to identify it, and at least so you know, right? That's what we do. Not always perfect. This morning, I think I got like 1,200 pips in total between the two indices. 2 of them are still running. 1 of them is closed out. So there's good days and there's bad days, obviously, but so far, 6,200-ish pips. Now, we know that in general, indices are a little bit different. So a standard is worth $10 a standard. Indices is a little bit different. We know that there's a lot that goes into these pips and points. But to normalize again, and to just conversation point, I'm not going to go into the math because so many brokers are so different, right? The smallest amount that this is worth, had you cut all of those pips, is about, $621. That's not bad considering this is 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, right? That's an hour and 20 minutes. That's all that took. That's it. It's not a lot of time to make that much money. That's not. And that's the very smallest lot size. And for this being, most of these are Forex, that's pretty accurate. Most people are trading with at least $1. A standard lot size is $10, to give you an idea. It's called a standard for a reason, right? That's our standard lot size. The pips we've even called live on YouTube, that's worth over $62,000. Now, I know not all of us are catching 100% of that move. I don't even catch 100% of that move. I also know that sometimes I'm catching twice as much as that move, right? I've got more than one position on that move. So I know that it kind of one hand feeds another concept, but let's just go off of a failure equation saying, hey, you only got half of those pips. You got out early, you protected too soon. Whatever the scenario is, you only got half of them. You're still looking at over $30,000, $3,000, ish dollars in a very short amount of time. So that's what we're doing here. That's what we're hoping to kind of come across and to help people see, to be in service of the people who really want to have a little bit more financial freedom and decision power over their life, but just haven't really got the grasp of it just yet. But that's it. In our morning class this morning, we've got a couple of trades that are holding. Now as we're out, I'm out. I scaled out of most of it, but then I continue to push. These are both up quite a bit. I think I'm up 600-ish pips still running and going, plus scaled out portions, but not bad. In our morning stuff this year, we've already got 208,000 pips, and that's all within our little membership group. If you want more information on that, please do click the link tree. And without further ado, let's go back here. Dun, dun, dun. These are the trades that we're going to go review. Now, I'm going to click around a little bit and show you why and what I'm looking at. Let me go ahead and write this date down because, well, it's probably a good idea. It's 7/11. If you live in an area, you still get free Surfies, I think. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to could do that. There you go. Happy 7/11. Now let's go take a look at these. Okay. So we know the ones we were looking at now. Those are all marked in blue currently, and then the ones I'm looking at taking today are marked in purple, and that's as of today. We can click around and say why I'm not looking for more, but I can show you all that here in just a second. Let's work our way backwards as always. USD Mexican, here's where we were at exactly when we were looking. This was on 621, so that call was on 620, which is here. Remember, UTC time, that's actually the next day, so that's in this range, right? That's where we were in general. I mark it with a yellow vertical line. We have yet to break this structure plus a 4-hour ATR cushion. This trade idea still had some room. It moved a total of 1,300 pips, but we're still sitting here. I'm not looking for another buy, but this is just kind of where we're sitting as of right now. So not a bad way to be, not at all. Let's see. I'm going to zoom out, pop up some time frames. Whoopsie. Let's get this off screen. Don't know what that Chinese writing is. Okay, so let's look at these bigger time frames. As you can see on the daily, we're still sitting at this area where just nothing is really happening. So we've hit this great area of support. I'm still looking for a bit of a reaction. We haven't got it just yet, and that's okay. We got a little bit out of it. Some of us did, some of us didn't. Needless to say, back to the 4-hour, that's it. Still sitting pretty low. So not going to continue to track this, not going to continue to trade this. But that was USD Mex. So we're going to take that off of our watch list. Working our way backwards, we've got EuroCAD. EuroCAD sat still for quite a while. So this is, again, right around the time that we were looking. We did pop up into profit. Well, pop up into activation, I should say more accurately. Come all the way down. We're still respecting structure. But if you're using one fractal back, that's not enough room. That's why I told you a couple weeks ago, I don't want to do that. I know it's going to help our risk to reward and it's going to look really sexy on paper, but it's not necessarily the most profitable. It's not necessarily the best way to be, at least for me. Not to say other people can't do it, and of course you'll catch those micro moves just fine and dandy, but for me, I like a little bit more room. I like a little bit more peace of mind. So from the point that this actually kind of activated, remember we had a pending order, this moved about 155, 156-ish pips. Not bad. We're still sitting above range. Right now we're in a bit of a pullback. I think this still has more room to go. This has even more room than we've got so far. So we're going to pull back some, and of course I think we've got a little bit more room to the upside. We'll see. Give it some time. It seems like a lot of time in between this, and it is, but this is a 4-hour time frame. Mind you, this move from May 4th all the way down to the lowest point was June 8th. But this is worth, depending on how much your lot size was, $600, $6,000, $600,000, depending on obviously what your account can handle. So that's worth the wait, especially with no real drawdown, no real nonsense, no nothing. If you got in on this one, of course you got that drawdown, but still not a bad way to be. You just got to be patient. So for that reason, I think I'm going to leave that up as blue. We're going to try this methodology and see if it serves us at all. Wish me luck. I hate keeping track of all that stuff. But odd NZD, I'm still running that trade, by the way. I've still got some positions open. I've got a short-term sell on it as well, but right now that's it. Odd NZD, we were looking for the sell here. This is the 4-hour time frame. Oh man, you can't see that this is the, yes you can. It's right here, 4-hour time frame. So this is the 4-hour time frame. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in. Here's where we're at. So from the time we activated, we actually kind of gapped down that day. That's about 260, 270-ish pips. Same concept right now. I think we're going to push up a little ways. I think there's a little bit more room to the downside, but that's about done. I'm not looking for any more on this trade. To me, this is done. It's spent, all gone. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this. Not bad at all. What's next? Keeping that open as blue. XRP, we looked at a couple of times. So here's where this should have had a vertical line on it. Silly rabbit. 620-ish. That's actually technically right here. This is where we were looking. It popped down, stayed within a range. Now, if the one fractal back is too tight, though. That's why I'm trying to say, hey, I want structure versus one fractal back. But I need to define. So I'm looking at something like 3 to 4 fractals back. I'm looking at 4 to 5 fractals back. I'm looking at structure. How do I define that in a way that's duplicatable to every single person? If you have an opinion, weigh in. I do need to solidify that in the next couple of weeks. But from where we looked at that entry, this moved 360-ish pips. Hard to see with that darn circle, but you guys get the idea. 370, 360. Not bad at all. Since then, of course, we wicked low. Bitcoin's sitting pretty high. I think this is going to make another move up. We've got a current trade idea for those of y'all who are interested. But otherwise, I'm done. If you want to trace that today, it's not a bad time. Take that off. Australian 200. I even put no trade but watch. Let me go ahead and remove all these objects. There are no objects. We were looking for this to sell. We were selling some of the other indices as well. From the time that we were looking at this, so let's find 620. Hold on. 620. And it wasn't ready yet either. So all the way, bear with me. But you guys, am I on the wrong time frame? No, I'm not. 620. That's pretty darn close in terms of where we're at UTC time. This moved over 2,000 pips. Not a bad way to be, right? It wasn't ready yet per the strategy, but on the smaller time frames and per the strategy, we knew exactly what we were looking for and exactly what we were doing. So not bad at all. We caught several buys and sells on some of those exotic indices. This morning actually was the first time I've looked at the German indices in a while. But either way, I love trading indices. So there's nothing on here to remove. I am going to take it off of our watch list. And that's it. So I'm going to keep this running. If I click through, this handy dandy Swiss Army knife here allows me to click through quite a bit of things. Look at how some of this is setting up. So Euro USD, just pay attention to this right here, looking for that to confirm, looking for us to be in and near the 50. Watch where we're at. We're really high. That one's not bad, but it's moved too much. That one's we're far too low. USD Chef is just tanking. Really needs to take a breath on that one. Gold, let's zoom in a little bit. Gold, I think, has a little bit of room to the downside before it continues this upward momentum. Although it's getting pretty stuck at that 1935 level. Let's keep going. This is silver. NAS is pushing up. US 30, wasn't even looking at those. German 30. S&P, UK, Australian. We already said that one was pretty good. But a lot of these, once we get out of the crypto territory, there we go, back to Forex. A lot of these aren't sitting at a great place. So I'm not going to sell this one just yet. So I wouldn't mind looking for a buy when and if, but now is not when. So there is no if. Australian, this has moved too much. Moved too much, not quite ready. Moved too much. Don't hate this one, but I'm not going to chase it, mostly because the low we just touched was the previous high. So even if we're looking at a pretty decent spot and in line with the current trend, and I think there's room on Chef JPY, I was tempted to highlight this and say, hey, let's take a look. That is what, 500-ish pips. That's another 180-ish pips. I definitely think there's some room on this pair. For those of y'all who are interested, definitely keep your eye out for it. But I'm not going to call it personally. So for those of y'all who are already traders, keep your eye on that sell for Chef JPY. EuroCAD we're holding. It's got a bit of a pullback first. And just as I click through here, there's not a lot of amazing I love how this is setting up. Your GBP AUD sitting up too high, GBPCAD, same story. I was still a little tempted on GBP Chef, but as I honed in other time frames, that's the daily, that's the weekly. If I see where we're sitting, I see we have some room to the downside, but not a lot. This doesn't have a super high ATR anyways, and the value is a little higher. But in comparison with where price is seated, I know it's opening bell time, so that's 82-ish pips. Figure my stop loss is going to be bare minimum in this range plus 1 hour ATR. I'm not even looking at a 1-to-1, so that's why I won't chase this one. I'm out. I like that one. No on that one. NZDCAD. I didn't hate it. In fact, I like it, but it's not set up for the strategy, and I'm trying to do something duplicatable here. Beautiful W formation. Nice divergence that we have setting up. Nice to even move. I think it has to be retested a little bit, but otherwise I think it definitely has some room. But for what we're trying to accomplish here on YouTube, it's not set up. That one has moved too much, and then we're back into the cryptos and the exotics. So that's, if I click through all of them, notice how it didn't take me a lot of seconds. It doesn't take too much. But that's it. So tonight I've got 2 pairs. GBP, JPY. Here's where we're sitting. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So I'm going to go to even the line chart. Normalize, I'll get all of that. Oh, that's from our take profit. That's a huge, thick line. Holy moly. Let's take that thickness down a bit. Hold on. Looking for the sell. So we're going to put that as red. Ta-da. I'm looking for the sell upon continuation. So back to the candles. Here's where we're sitting. I can go ahead and highlight the candle prior to the one that we're on. Can you wait for the pull-up and a slightly better entry, slightly tighter stop loss? You can. You definitely can. If you're a skilled trader, you know what you're doing. You've got this nice little channel forming. I think we have a little bit more room to the upside. But if you're looking for that peaceful, I'm taking my entry, I know my risk to reward. Whoopsie, that's B. Let's go sell. One more time. So moving that way up there, figure plus I'm giving it room. So the 4-hour ATR is 49, 59 pips. So structure is here, plus 59 pips. This is structure. This is where our high is sitting. Figure we're going to get a reaction in here. That's barely a 0.5 to 1. That's not so good. In general, I'm looking for price to come, a little hard to see with my big circle. That's about a 2 to 1. That's a beautiful trade. You can protect or scale out at 0.5 to 1. You can lock your profit and start to trail when you've got 50 pips or so, 25 pips or so. Not a bad way to be. So by all means, not a bad trade in terms of risk reward. Great trade in terms of setup. We're a little bit later on the ball, but I think overall where price is sitting, this is an easy to follow trade. And then AUDUSD. So we know the USD is incredibly weak. It doesn't necessarily make the USD super strong. I do think if we pop around some time frames, which I don't always do, daily, weekly, daily, weekly, that's back to 4-hour. We've got a lot of resistance here. We've got a couple of different formations. We've got some head and shoulders, multiple ones, triple bottoms, double bottoms, W's, the whole 9. If and when we break out of this fractal level, this is the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to make this green. This one you're not going for as many pips either. I got to count for that. This does not have a very high ATR. So figure your 4-hour ATR is only 25 pips. You're protecting within 25 pips. So we need to get that back on that spreadsheet prior to this video. But you're, just to real quick voice this out before we jump off. A, you're always protecting within that 25 to 50 pips. Would I rather it be ATR? I would, but not everybody knows that stuff. So 25 to 50 pips, you're protecting. Protecting means what? It means applying a trailing stop. It means putting your stop loss into profit. It means scaling out of some of your position, meaning like, hey, I've got a standard lot. I'm going to close 0.5 of that and just let the rest ride. Okay? It means a lot of things. It means taking profit right there and then don't have to worry about the rest of the move. But ultimately, you're responsible for making a decision once you have hit that mark on your account. Always, paper or money, doesn't matter. Set the habit for yourself to do it that way, and I promise it will pay you dividends when you are trading your real money. That's it. Always, always, always on those 2 trades, on any trades we talk about. And then, of course, last but not least, we need to solidify that stop loss. And ideally, I'm just going to keep doing these videos to show you, hey, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to understand. We had a guy in our class this morning, completely all over the place. I know he's listening to this. So with lots of love, all over the place in terms of lot sizes, right? But he's killing it in the chats. Like if you saw the screenshots he was posting, if you saw what he's doing and watched all of his aha moments, it's exciting. But he still doesn't know, these other things. I am queen at not knowing, a big percentage of stuff and still being able to say, hey, but I get this part right, and that's enough to be successful. So I'm really excited about the people who are also doing that, and I'm hoping you guys on the YouTube here start to do the same. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, the content you like to see, and whatever else, please do put it in the comments. Thank you everyone who keeps watching these, who are commenting all over YouTube. Myself and my team are really excited. It kind of feels so good to just have so many amazing like-minded people who are supportive and kind. And I hope you guys have a beautiful couple of weeks. I will be back again next week. Take care and God bless.